So yes, this Amazon Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power situation, whatever you want to call it, it's getting worse. The fan reactions are getting worse. The fans are going after Lord of the Rings and its creators, or the Amazon Lord of the Rings, not the original, obviously. Fans are going after this new Lord of the Rings series from Amazon. It's getting worse and worse by the day, and of course, the shills are now going after the fans who are just trying to defend the original Lord of the Rings content and protect the canon of the Lord of the Rings. Of course, the shills are out in full effect. They're always going to be protecting anything that these bigger media outlets create, stuff like Amazon, these bigger studios like Amazon, Disney, Star Wars, Marvel. We all know the story. It repeats itself over and over again. Before we get into that though, I just want to check in on the ratios from these trailers. This one is the US version with 27 million views, 95,000 likes to 88,000 dislikes. I've said it a million times, but it's extremely hard to ratio a trailer with this many views. It's extremely hard to ratio a video with this many views. We saw it on the Star Wars YouTube channel. Back whenever Gina Carano was fired, every single Star Wars YouTube video on the official Star Wars channel was getting ratioed into oblivion. I'm talking like 20,000 likes to 1,000, or 20,000 dislikes to 1,000 likes, and it was consistent. Every single video was getting ratioed every single day. And then the Bad Batch trailer drops, which isn't even, a mainstream show. I would say that most Star Wars fans out there that are casuals don't care at all about the Bad Batch, but the trailer got 3 million views and it got a ton of likes in comparison to the dislikes. Probably like 200,000 likes to around 20,000 dislikes. So it didn't get ratioed at all. There was a lot more dislikes than normal, but it wasn't like the other videos. Now this trailer right here with 27 million views is still around a 50% dislike to like ratio. And then we go to the UK version where there's only 5 million views and it's getting ratioed pretty bad. 22,000 likes to 43k dislikes. And obviously all the comments are the same thing. Evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt. Same thing over on the US version. It's bad, man. There's nobody talking about the actual show. There's nobody excited for this show that I've seen, of course, except for the shills on Twitter. I saw Yellow Flash call this out. Shout out to Yellow Flash. He called this out in his video, and he also called it out on Twitter because they're making fun of Yellow Flash's thumbnail for whatever reason. I guess it's because they're saying that it's the same talking points that they make for every single video. But maybe, or every single series that comes out, or every single, reboot, adaptation, continuation, whatever you want to say for these money grabs like The Matrix and Ghostbusters 2016 and now this Amazon Lord of the Rings series. They're saying that they're just repeating the same talking points over and over again. Has it ever crossed your mind that maybe, just maybe, we're mad at these shows, these movies, these reboots, these continuations for doing certain things? We call them out for doing certain things. These movies, these TV shows bomb on Rotten Tomatoes, on IMDb, and at the box office, and then they continue to reboot and reimagine and continue these beloved IPs and do the same thing to make them bomb on Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and at the box office over and over again. Has it ever crossed anyone's mind who thinks like at chat? Has it ever crossed your mind that maybe we're just not getting what we want out of these shows in TV, or out of these shows in these movies, so we keep calling the same points out because they continue to fail in the same areas that they fail for every single adaptation or continuation that they make for these beloved IPs, for these legacy IPs like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, whatever, take your pick, Ghostbusters, Matrix, whatever it is. They continue to make the same exact mistakes over and over again, and we just want to see good content. It has nothing to do with any of the istophobe stuff that you think it has to do with. It's none of that. It's simply canon breaking. It's simply people who are experts, who are diehard fans on this kind of stuff. Like I said, you can go down the list. There's Star Wars, there's Marvel, there's Matrix, now Lord of the Rings, there was He-Man. The list goes on and on, man. It's endless. They make the same mistakes for every single adaptation, every single continuation that you take from 20, 30 years ago and you bring it into the present day, bring it into modern day. If it's not the original person who created the original movies making the stuff in the current day, it will get ruined by, injecting politics, by injecting agendas into the show and into the movies. That's why we're so angry about this. It's not just because we like to hate stuff. I love to love stuff, like Spider-Man No Way Home. I loved that movie because there was no politics in it. That's not why I liked it. That's the baseline. That's how everything should be. Once I realized that there was no politics inside of the movie, then I was able to just sit back and enjoy the movie. It's not that I love the movie simply because there's no politics. That is the baseline. That's how it should be. Then you have to give me a good story after that. These things, these Amazon Lord of the Rings stuff, the Matrix, I don't think the politics are too strong in Star Wars, but sometimes, but Marvel it's very bad in Marvel. these things are failing to reach the baseline. These things are failing to get off the ground. It's to the point where I watch one episode, I watch 5 minutes of these shows, and I'm like, this isn't for me. I can't enjoy the story. I can't get past the fact that these people hate me because I don't share their radical politics that they have. That's how this stuff works. That's why we're so mad. It's because if you don't share their political views, they don't want you watching their shows at all. But people like Ad Chat, all these other shills who just want to, I don't even know what their end goal is, I guess, to get some sort of insider access, to get, better access to seeing these shows early. I don't really know what their end goal is. They just want to have a good relationship with these studios, I guess. What they can't understand is that we just want to be able to enjoy all media without having to share someone's politics to simply get into the door, for the show to get off the ground in our eyes. That's why whenever we do get a good show, like, I don't know, I'm really enjoying Yellowstone right now. I'm not seeing too much politics pushed in there. Obviously, the whole show is political, but it's not like identity politics, where if you don't agree with this radical side of politics, then you can't enjoy the show. It's not like that. Whenever we do get a good show like that and it gets off the ground, it reaches the baseline, like Spider-Man No Way Home, it reaches the baseline, and then they give us a good story, and then they give us some good nostalgia mixed in with the story. We can actually enjoy it. We fall in love with it, and we promote it like crazy. And whenever stuff like Lord of the Rings comes out, like Amazon's Lord of the Rings comes out, we trash it because we see that there is potential. You're throwing $1.5 billion at a Lord of the Rings show that could have so much potential if you just didn't inject the politics. But like I said, these shows will never be able to see it. This article from Bounding Into Comics says Lord of the Rings of Power showrunners admit they don't have the rights to the Silmarillion, I believe is how you pronounce it. Somebody corrected me in the comments. If I'm saying it wrong, correct me again, but I believe it's the Silmarillion or Unfinished Tale. They don't have the rights to do exactly what they're trying to do, which is why they're changing everything, I guess, would be a good excuse for it. But at the same time, how do you not have the rights to make a show in the area in the time period that you're making it in? Obviously, they have the rights to do that, but they don't have the rights to do certain things within that time period, which forces them to dance around certain topics and certain ideas and certain areas of the story. But at the same time, you have the right to completely just change the canon by adding in certain races and, certain colors of people, which I don't have a problem with inherently. I don't have a problem with, obviously. I hate that I even have to explain myself and say this. I don't have a problem with certain people who look a certain way being in shows and in movies. If you do have a problem with that, then you're just a piece of crap human, and you shouldn't be able to voice your opinion online or anything. But obviously, we don't have a problem with that. It's just simply that in the original Lord of the Rings movies, those people didn't exist, so it raises a lot of questions and it creates a lot of plot holes that weren't there previously. So how do you not have the rights to these things that you have to have the rights to, but you have the rights to completely destroy the canon and completely contradict the canon at the same time? It doesn't make any sense to me. But also, there's these people from Den of Geek. Lord of the Rings of Power, why fandom has to embrace change. I don't think the fandom has to embrace change in the ways that they're being forced to embrace change right now. I'm going to continue to say the same stuff. I know that they're going to get mad at people like me because we just continue to repeat the same talking points and all that other stuff that they always repeat. But it's the truth. We don't want to embrace change in the ways that you're forcing us to embrace change. Obviously, if you're making a new Lord of the Rings series, it's not going to be the same exact movies that we saw in the past. Embracing change is like going from the Star Wars original trilogy and embracing the prequel trilogy because it's a lot different. It has a lot different feel. At the time, I'm sure to those people, it didn't feel like true Star Wars because the true Star Wars that they knew was the original trilogy. But at the same time, there wasn't politics being forced down your throat to the point where you can't enjoy the movies unless you share the political views of the creator of the movies. That's the change that we refuse to embrace, and that these people are saying that we need to embrace. That's just not going to happen, man. We're not going to embrace that change. A lot of us, a lot of people out there, they don't care as much. They're like, you know what? If you want to force this politics down my throat, I'll just look past it. I used to be that way, but it's gotten so bad now that I can't look past it anymore. I refuse to look past it. And I hope a lot of other people join in on the fight and say that I refuse to, look past it as well. I'm not going to watch this stuff. I'm not going to support this stuff until you give us what we want, which is simply good content with no politics injected. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. What do you think about these shows stepping in to defend the Lord of the Rings series? And how do you think the Lord of the Rings series will actually do on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb and all that stuff? Let me know what you think about the whole situation in the comments. If you did enjoy the video, though, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you in the next one.